Hi, everybody. Jessica Smith, RN coach, and I am here with Brandy today. And I am so excited to introduce you to Brandy because I know that she's going to have something in her story that's going to connect with you and that you're going to need to hear today. So, yay! Welcome, Brandy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, of course. So now I've been doing these interview series of actual clients who have just totally and completely changed their life with coaching because I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions out there about what actually is a health coach. And then people hear health coach and all they think of is, well, does that mean I'm going to get skinny? Like there's something about healthy that means my weight's going to be good, and that's as far as it goes. And so I'm really hoping to kind of help clarify what health coaching does and how it really does change people's lives. And can you just tell me about how your life was before you met your health coach?
Oh man. Well, thankfully, my health coach is actually one of my very best friends in the whole world. We've known each other for 10 years. And just the fact that, she's been in my life. So I didn't get introduced to her because of health coaching, but she's someone that has really always been very organic and natural in the things that she does, and especially keeping her environment that way and keeping her food intake pretty organic and natural. So having that influence over the years has been really good. But my story wasn't so much like that. So we are a family of homeschoolers, bunch of weirdos over here. But we have 6 kids, and we married for 23 years, and I think just convenience lifestyle. We are not homesteaders. I really admire the people who can live off the land and do all the canning and that we're taught those things growing up, or we're willing to learn those things new. But basically, I worked most of our marriage and, part-time anyway, and my husband worked. So we just kind of tag team parented, and we lived conveniently, whatever was eat to put in the oven during the middle of school day. That's kind of what we chose. And especially when we were out, my friends might call me the queen of drive-through because it was constant, we were just convenience eaters. And I think that's where the biggest downfall is was for me before health coaching entered my atmosphere. But even in all of that, the one thing I do love is working out. I've always loved to work out. So I did exercise a lot. I was a beach body coach, but I think life just was a little bit more convenience oriented. So we really just did what we had to do to make sure our budget stayed, where, our grocery budget stayed normal and everyone could at least eat. So that's pretty much what it consisted of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super important. And I think that it's really interesting because I've actually connected with a couple of other homeschooling moms in the last couple of weeks. And like you guys are so amazing to me. Like, I'm just going to pass my super mom cape right on over because I don't know that I could do it. I really don't. I love having that space when they're at school and then supporting when they're learning afterwards. But I like that somebody else is, running the curriculum for me. So power to you. And I can imagine in that type of lifestyle, especially like moms in general, even moms whose kids go to public school, have a really hard time putting themselves first. And it sounds like maybe your nutrition was probably the number one thing that was kind of at the bottom of that list. So tell me about your health prior to sort of cleaning up your convenience type eating and what kind of difference that's made for your personal health as well as for your family.
Yeah. You're right that homeschooling is it's a different taste, but you know what? Everyone is working to educate their kids. So for me, it's all equal. And, the fact that we can rely on our public school system or private school system, whatever, to help us when we really just need to do life, then I'm all for it. Whatever works for each individual family, each individual child. To me, that's just my little plug about homeschooling versus any other kind of schooling. Whatever works for you guys. That's how I look at it.
Amen.
But yeah, but as far as my health was concerned, really, I think just having so many children, you know, over the years of 23 years of marriage, our oldest is 23 and our youngest is 5. So we've got a really big expanse of, you know, ages in our kids in a wide range. That was a great choice of God to give us those, not all at one time, because, you know, even twins, I can't imagine. I know that there are people that have them and that survive it, but I'm thankful mine were only one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just growing bigger each pregnancy, my hormones changing over, you know, 20 years of having kids or 18 years of having kids. And, you know, you just gain and lose the same 30 to 50 pounds over and over again. Life changes, you know, different stressors, you know, marriage difficulties, whatever. Everyone has their story, but really that's what mine consisted of, was just life changes and then pregnancy after pregnancy. And I really could manage to get back down to, you know, an average weight every pregnancy, or at least every other pregnancy. But I was really struggling to connect all of the dots in my health. So I would exercise and I would, you know, get it down. And thankfully nursing was a great tool to help me with, you know, manage my weight. But it wasn't like that for every, you know, pregnancy, because it doesn't always happen. You can't always rely on nursing to do that. But I think just the head for me, kind of the kicker, was last year I went through really, I health-wise, I'm fairly healthy. I don't have bad numbers at the doctor. I'm just having a lot of, you know, mood shifts and really a lot of issues last summer with my hormones. And I just couldn't quite figure it out. I'm 44. At the time I was 40. Well, no, I had turned 44. I'm almost 45. But I think I just kept thinking, okay, well, I guess this is just the phase of life I'm in, and I just have to accept it and embrace it. And I really tried to do that. But what I found was that I wasn't managing it very well. And I was really struggling with my eating habits during that time, because what do we want when we're experiencing emotional difficulties? Is we want comfort. And kudos to those ladies who like pick up the reins and run with it on cleaning or organizing or doing something, you know, going and becoming a runner during those seasons of life. I'm not that girl. I really ate my emotions. And as much as I love exercise, you'd think that I would default to that. And I was still exercising, but I was really just not connecting all the dots in what I was eating. So I did a full hormone panel last summer with a local physician's team. And what they found was that I was 10 years away from menopause and on one of the tests. So I was like, oh my word. So what is really going on?
Yeah.
And really, that's when it was a really rough several months. And every New Year's, what do? I made my resolution, and I was going to, you know, my birthday's in April. So I was going to lose whatever weight I wanted to lose by April. And it was going to be the best birthday ever. Yeah. Then you get to about mid-January and you're like, oh, but for me, it was actually the beginning of February because we have birthdays. So I got really off track by the beginning of February and started experiencing some of the same issues. And that's when my friend was talking to me about this health coaching program that she found. Now, mind you, this girl was already super crunchy, organic, you know, whole health, everything. She was getting her certification to be a whole health educator and a holistic nurse health coach. I'm like, she's putting the effort in. And then all of a sudden she introduces me to this brand new thing that she's come across in one of her nursing boards. And she's telling me about it, and she's talking to me about the research that she's doing. And I was super excited for her, but what would I be interested? I'm not a nurse. So I was like, you know, I don't know how this is going to benefit me. And, but I was super excited for her and cheering her on. Then, Jessica, let me tell you, I started seeing results on her. Now, she didn't have very much weight to lose. God love her heart. She's just this petite little hummingbird. She's just the sweetest thing. But she lost like 18 pounds. And I was like, where were you storing this 18 pounds? But it was, you know, not for me, but she was gaining weight in her belly. Well, what can you do? You can wear like cute tops and you can cover that stuff.
Yep.
I don't gain weight in my belly. Typically it's in my backside and my thighs. So you can't hide that as well.
It's a little harder to hide, no joke, unless you're committed to wearing the like.
Yes. And it's not cute.
No, sure not.
Yeah. So I started seeing these results on her, and not only did she lose a little bit of weight, which, 18 pounds, I mean, that can be a pretty big chunk of weight on a little person.
Well, 100,
But, you
yeah.
know, yeah, I started seeing her skin looked clearer. She looked more vibrant overall. She was experiencing more joy in her life. Now, this is one of my best friends in the whole world. So I got to see firsthand how this was impacting her. And she was just like, had more energy. She had chronic daily migraines, and she no longer was experiencing chronic daily migraines. And I'm like, okay, whatever you're doing, sign me up right now, whatever it is. So yeah, that's kind of like my last year and a half in a nutshell.
Gotcha. So I love your story because people, a lot of times when you talk about health coaching or health in general, people automatically associate like, oh, I got to lose weight. That's the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is I got to lose weight. But that's not what health is. I mean, that's definitely part of health. Is being an optimal weight is definitely important in your health. But it's those little things like you said, like that shining look of vibrancy, that like heightened ability to experience joy in her life, her her energy level, her increase in energy, like those are the things that really, really speak to health, because you can be within an optimal weight range, so to speak, and be very unhealthy, very unhealthy. And I think that that's really important for people to understand, is that even if your weight is good, but you're still eating, you're not fueling your body, you're not educating yourself about what the human body actually needs in order to function correctly, to have vibrant skin, to give you that energy, then you just kind of go through life thinking like, yeah, I mean, my weight's fine, so I'm good, right? And that's really not true. And so you wanted what she wanted, obviously. You wanted that joy, you wanted that beautiful skin, you wanted that sparkle, that energy. So did you get those things?
Oh man. So when I told her to sign me up, I didn't care what it was. It could have been some sort of cult. I didn't know. I just wanted to know everything about it. I wanted to be signed up right away. And that's what we did. And what I found with not only, having my best friend basically be right, in my sphere all the time, but also having that level of health coaching that she was experiencing. She was just kind of pouring it all into me. And I was thankfully her first client. And what I found was, my initial goal, I just wanted to lose 20 pounds. I just wanted to feel better and look better. I didn't think about all of the other added benefits as much as I wanted to see movement on the scale. So maybe that's kind of a shallow goal, but you know what? I own it because that's where I started. And so with that goal in mind, I mean, that 20 pounds was like just minutes, I felt like, and it was gone. And I was like, oh my word, like what happened? But in the meantime, I was feeling better. I was sleeping more soundly. I wasn't having the same mood shifts that I was the months leading up to that beginning. And I just felt better overall. And I thought, what is going on? Is there some sort of, crazy mojo I don't know about, And what I really experienced was an idea, and I guess it is hope. I had gained and lost those same 30 to 50 pounds so many times that I kind of felt like there was really no hope in regaining true health. Not just moving on the scale, but I really had, at least if I could have moving on the scale, I would feel better about myself. But this was so much more than that. Still today, I've decided to move past that 20 pounds, and I lost 10 more, and I hit that goal, and it was just easy. Or I won't say easy. I'll use the term simple. It was simple. That using a health coach and leaning into her and gaining some knowledge about what my body really needs so I can connect all the dots and not just some of them. And then finding other people and being connected with other people like you who have those same health goals in mind. So it transferred my mind and shifted it from seeing movement on the scale to really focusing on what you'd call like a non-scale victory. And yeah, those 30 pounds are great, and I'm glad they're gone. And I look better in my clothes. I feel better. I can move more. I can run after my kids, and I have the energy. There's so much more to it than just having a thinner body.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. And I love that that is your journey, because, you know, over and over and over again, you see people like lose weight and they're like, I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to feel great and it's going to be amazing. And then they get to this goal of like, I've lost the weight. And then they're like, now what? Like, I've lost the weight, now what? And like, that's where most weight loss programs really fail, because they don't educate. They don't tell you to do what's next. They're super, super effective at helping you get the weight off, but then they don't teach you or educate you or empower you to keep it off. And how do you shift that mindset from the diet mentality to like, I'm really wanting more for my health. I'm wanting that vibrancy, that energy, that joy, that fulfillment, like all of those things. And it's like you said, so many people today have like a piece of the puzzle, like a dot here and a dot there, but they're really struggling with how do we connect all of those dots. And that is exactly what a health coach does, is we dig into all the dots, like what dots are you killing and what dots are not even on your radar, and how do we put all those dots back on your radar and rise them to the level where we can connect them all to really, really create an overall healthy life, which includes healthy mind, healthy body, healthy soul, healthy finances, healthy relationships. All of those things create health. And I think it's also really important, Brandy, like you said, is it's not easy. Changing behavior, shifting habits, looking at things in new ways, learning new things about your body, about yourself, about your mindset. Those things aren't necessarily easy, but they are very simple, especially when you have a health coach who has a system, who knows what they're doing, who's experienced it for themselves, and who can really help guide you through that process. So my question for you is, had you decided to not work with her, what would that have costed you in terms of your lifestyle?
Oh, wow. So, you know, being a convenience eater, one of the things that I have found is I can have permission to we still live kind of conveniently, but now the choices that we make are much more balanced and healthy. I don't go through the drive-through and get a double cheeseburger with, you know, extra mayonnaise and all of that. I'm getting something a lot more balanced and healthy. And yeah, we still live conveniently, and that's okay. But I think the cost really, before I met, you know, the idea of health coaching through my coach, the cost that I was experiencing wasn't yet in my health. It was in my weight, but I hadn't gotten to the point where I was experiencing something else underlying, some other really unhealthy diagnosis or anything like that. What I found was the choices I was making were really damaging my ability to be fully present in every area of my life. So that, had I not said yes to this idea of health coaching and just kept moving on the same path, trying my best to connect all the dots, not really knowing and educating myself on what that looks like, I probably would still be choosing poorly for what is going to fuel my body to make me have the amount of energy and experience life to the fullest. But long term, I told you I'm almost 45. I might not have those health concerns now, but what would that look like at 55? What is that going to look like at 65? And when I started looking at my future, and I already have 2 grandchildren, which they're phenomenal. They're such a great blessing in my life. And I can get on the floor and play with them now. And I can paint, and I can do their hair and just be silly and be, you know, grandma, or they call me uncle, but I don't know. Uncle Brandy. But I could do all those things. But what is that going to look like when I'm 65 and my aches and creaks, and hopefully, not, but if my weight would have continued on that same trajectory, type 2 diabetes was in my path, and I was already, diabetic in one of my pregnancies. So that tells you right there, my body has the propensity for that.
Yep.
And, who knows what else? I mean, there's a myriad of issues, and I was already experiencing so many hormonal shifts and changes. Boy, what would that look like even this year, let alone in 10 years? So really, I feel like it was life-changing to say yes to that. And the cost for me to not say yes, I think, would have been my life, would have been not maybe physically, I may not have died at a young age, but would have had the kind of life that I'm thriving through.
Yes. Yes.
We don't have that guarantee.
No. So it's so funny that like your story kind of goes right in conjunction with a post that I put on Facebook this morning. So I put on this meme I found. It says, the normal question is this bad enough for me to change? The question we should be asking, is this good enough for me to stay the same? And the real question underneath it all is, am I free? And I think that your story 100% embodies that. And like, I can tell you're just free. You're beautiful. You are vibrant. You are loving life. You've got your joy. You've got your beautiful family. And like, I can tell just by your story and your voice and the way that you show up that you truly are free in this life and you are enjoying all these beautiful things that you've created. And sort of the question that I posed with this meme this morning is, if it's not good enough for you to stay the same and you're not free, then why do we need to let it get to a point where it's bad enough that we have to make a change? And I think that is also another stimulus for people, is they think that it has to get to a point where it's bad, it's quote unquote bad. And I think Brandy and I are both here to tell you that if it's just not good enough to stay the same, and you want more for your health and your joy, your life, you want to be able to enjoy this beautiful life that you've created, I think the answer is, then make the change now. Don't wait until it's bad enough that you're forced to make a change. Right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We shouldn't just live okay. There's got to be more than just okay.
Yep.
And really, if we tell the whole truth, if we're brave enough to tell the whole truth, not only is it really not okay, it really is pretty bad. I mean, but we're sometimes blinded. And I think that's what you were talking about with those dots, letting a health coach kind of help you start to see those things more plainly. Because the dots are there, you're just not connecting them because you have blind spots. All of us do.
Yeah.
Even after becoming a health coach, sure, we could still have blind spots. We're constantly learning and growing and finding out, more things about ourselves, and really digging into what life's all about and how to make it the very best it can be. So your best isn't going to be the same as my best, but it can still be the best for you. And when we start letting someone in enough that cares and that has, like you said, knowledge, they have a proven system that works. And it doesn't just work one time for just one group of people. It works over and over and over every single time for every single person that has experienced health coaching. It just has. And that's the bottom line. When you have a proven system that works, that incorporates real people digging into your life and helping you through it and helping you connect the dots, and real education about whole health and what it really means, that optimal health, and having a community of support around you for that extra padding and the extra layer of encouragement and support. And you're learning how to balance your meals so that this isn't about supplements and essential oils and all of that, although those things are super helpful when they're needed. And I love to even, use those things in my own life.
Yep.
But really, true health is from the inside, in us. And it's not the whole idea of thinking to make it happen in the sense of I can just make it happen. It's really, I tried to make it happen over and over again. I tried, and yet I failed over and over again. And what happens when we fail to succeed, when we continue trying? We quit. And that's where I'd come to. I was like, forget it. I'm throwing the towel in. I don't want to mess with this anymore. I just want to be 20 pounds lighter. And, just like every other client of health coaching that I know, they just had that one more thing to try, just one more thing that can maybe be the thing that's going to help them through.
Yep. I love that. There's one thing that you said that I really want to reiterate before we wrap up. And that is the fact that even though this process for you hasn't necessarily been quote unquote easy, it has been simple. And if anything is going to create transformational change, it needs to be simple. It needs to be something that people can win at. And that's the beauty of finding a health coach that has a system, that has that support, that has that knowledge, that education. Because really at the end of the day, you're not hiring somebody to help you lose weight. You are hiring somebody to empower you to be the expert in your own health, and to know that every single moment you have a choice, and to help you shift that mindset to be able to make that choice that is the most empowering to what you actually want. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. What we do is 100% duplicatable. That's a proven system.
Yeah.
If I was doing some wild, crazy diet and, whatever, I mean, you could name it. I always say I could put you on popcorn and beef jerky and you could lose 20 pounds, but is that going to provide health? You might taste good for a while, but first of all, you get bored with popcorn and beef jerky at every meal, but you'd also not really get what you're trying to achieve. Because if we dig down a little deeper than our initial, like I would just want to lose 20 pounds, that's awesome. I love it when clients say that, you know what, I don't have any health concerns. I just want to lose 20 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever it is.
Yep.
But then when they start gaining the knowledge that we're talking with them about on a regular basis, and they start really digging into that internal, like intrinsic motivation, they're like, yeah, really what I want is to feel good and to be healthy. I want to be hiking when I'm 80. I want to be playing in the swing sets with my grandkids or whatever. Most of us find that after the fact. And I'd say women are more often, because of our makeup, our motivation doesn't come from external sources. Our motivation comes from doing. So if you want to have the desire to clean your house, you're not going to get up and go, I'm going to put on this motivational speaker to tell me how to clean my house. No, you're going to do it first. You're going to start the dishwasher or whatever, and then you're going to start feeling better. Where for some people, it's not like that. But I'd say for women, generically speaking, we have to act.
Yep.
Move.
Exactly.
We just have to move.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think
we find that motivation.
Absolutely. And I think the other piece of that is when we say we're going to do something and then we act on it, that act becomes very self-honoring because we're keeping our words to ourselves. And when we keep our words to ourselves, we give ourselves the message that we're important. We give ourselves the message that we're a priority. We give ourselves the message that we're worthy and that we matter. And that is why it's so important. I think, for women and for any human being in general, it's important to feel worthy and cared for and prioritized. And that's exactly what you do when you set a goal for yourself and you act on it, because your actions speak and your actions tell you that you're worthy. You're worthy. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. You don't need nobody else telling you that you're worthy, but you need to make yourself feel worthy, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I love that.
So if there's somebody out there today who's listening to our interview and just maybe on the fence about, they're wanting to make some changes, they've got those little dots, they've been doing pretty good, they're pretty healthy, but they've been wanting something more, what advice would you give them?
Oh man. So first and foremost, exactly what you just said was that saying out loud, I'm worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Not because there's something just fabulous about me and I'm better than everyone else, but because I'm a creation of God. I have value.
Yeah.
So if you recognize that you have value, reach out to Jessica. You know, if you're in her circle of influence and you've seen this video because she's, you know, posted it and somebody shared it to you, it was because they believed in you. They believe that you're worthy to experience life transformation. And that life transformation is not something special for only the few.
No.
Everyone has a story, and everyone has hope. This is a level of hope that comes to you right here on your screen, on Facebook, or in your email, or whatever. This is your message of hope. You're worthy. If you're willing to just say yes to that one more thing, I'm 100% sure that finding a health coach is the next step for you. And I would say do it. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate 1 second. You're worthy, and you have so much more to offer to others. So what do we do when we experience hope is we become a hope dealer, because the things that we're comforted with, that's how we comfort others. I was comforted deep down to my very soul by having a health coach that cared about me, that reminded me that I'm worth it, and that showed me the way so that she could help me educate myself and become the expert in my own health. Now I can offer that hope to others. So she was a hope dealer to me, and now I can be a hope dealer to others. And if you have a story, then you can be a hope dealer. What
Yep.
better choice can you make in the world than to offer others hope?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that doesn't have to look like becoming a coach on your own. That just simply has to look like you honoring yourself, living your healthiest, most joyful, most energetic life, and just in being your healthiest version of yourself, you will inspire others by doing nothing more. And so it's really simple. And again, Brandy, thank you so much. Your story is beautiful, and I know that somebody out there needed to hear what you had to share today. So thank you. And for those of you who are considering, like, I don't know, maybe I should try out this health coaching thing. Well, guess what? I offer free consultations. It costs you nothing except your time. And what if by signing up for a free health assessment, you end up transforming your life and actually get what you want this year instead of a list of resolutions that you just didn't achieve? Because I'll tell you what, it is possible. It is simple. It is predictable. And I love coaching and getting into life with you. And all you have to do is take that first step. Just sign up, do a free health assessment, see where it takes you. It may absolutely not be for you, and that's totally okay, but you got nothing to lose. So, Brandy, again, thanks for your time. You are absolutely beautiful and wonderful. And I hope all of you have an amazing day. Take care, you guys.